serves 46 white onions, thinly sliced 2 garlic cloves, roughly chopped 2 bay leaves, 2 tablespoons thyme, finely chopped 300 milliliters cider, preferably Breton 100 milliliters, double cream, salt and black pepper for the croutons, 90 grams unsalted butter, 3 tablespoons Dijon mustard, a pinch of salt, 4 slices of sourdough. 1. Set the oven to 180 C350 FGAs 4. Gently fry the onions and garlic with the bay leaves and thyme in a heavy based pan for 15 minutes, stirring occasionally, until soft and sticky. Try not to let the onions color. 2. Add the cider. Bring to a boil, add the cream, then bring to a boil again. Season generously. 3. Melt the butter in a frying pan. When it starts to foam, whisk in the Dijon and salt. Dip the bread into the mix, then bake in the oven for 10 minutes, until golden. Break into pieces by hand. 4. Blitz the soup until very smooth. Adjust the seasoning. Serve with the mustard croutons. Any mussels that have not opened during cooking should be discarded. Photograph Joe Woodhouse. Steamed mussels, celery and white wine. Serves 650 milliliters extra virgin olive oil, 6 shallots, peeled and thinly sliced, 4 garlic cloves, peeled and thinly sliced, 1 leek, washed and sliced thinly, 1 stick of celery, sliced thinly, leaves picked, chopped and reserved, 2 tablespoons picked thyme, finely chopped, 2 bay leaves, 400 grams mussels, rinsed thoroughly and beards pulled out. If any are not closed or don't close after a gentle tap, they are dead, so don't use them. Once cleaned, keep in the fridge out of water with a damp cloth over them. 2 glasses of white Winnie, a knob of butter, 1 handful flat leaf parsley, picked and chopped, head, salt and black pepper. 1. Heat the oil in a large pan for which you have a lid. Add all the thinly sliced vegetables and the thyme and bay leaves, season, then cook until softened and unctuous. 2. Add the mussels and white wine, then pop the lid on. Steam gently for 23 minutes, gently shaking now and then. When the mussels have opened, add the butter and celery leaves. 3. Transfer the mussels to a serving bowl, discarding any still closed. Simmer the veg and sauce briefly, check seasoning and pour over the mussels. Scatter with the parsley, then serve with white wine and loads of crusty bread. Dried chickpeas need to be soaked overnight before cooking in this stew. Photograph Joe Woodhouse. Aubergine and chickpea stew serves 46,250 grams chickpeas, soaked overnight then drained, or 1 tin of chickpeas, drained, 100 milliliters extra virgin olive oil, plus a little extra for frying and drizzling. 4 aubergines, sliced into equal chunks, 2 red onions, peeled, cut into eighths, 4 garlic cloves, peeled and thinly sliced, 140 milliliters red wine, 1 tin whole peeled plum tomatoes, 2 bay leaves, 1 tablespoon red wine vinegar, 2 tablespoons fresh oregano, chopped head, salt and black pepper. 1. If cooking your own chickpeas, cover them with fresh water, bring to the boil and cook for around 45 minutes, or until very soft. Take off the heat and add a drizzle of oil, season with salt and leave to one side. 2. Set the oven to 160 C325 FGAs 3. Heat a glug of olive oil in a pan and fry the aubergine until browned, then set aside. Add another drizzle of oil to the pan, and fry the red onions and garlic. Cook gently for 45 minutes, or until the onions have softened. 3. Add the wine and reduce a little, then add the tomatoes, bay leaves and vinegar and reduce a little more. Add the aubergines and drained chickpeas, season and pour into an oven-proof baking dish. Bake for 40 minutes. 4. Add the chopped oregano, then serve alongside crusty bread or brown rice. Pork chops, turnips and beans. In the picture we have added cocked onions instead of turnips. If you do the same, peel 46 onions, slice them in half, and fry cut side down in a little olive oil. Then roast at 180 C350 FGAs 4 for 20 minutes, or until tender when pierced with a small knife. Non-tinned haricot beans need to be soaked overnight for this recipe. Photograph Joe Woodhouse. Serves 4,500 grams haricot beans, soaked and cooked, or 2 by 400 grams tins of haricot beans, 1/2 bulb of garlic, 2 bay leaves, 1 sprig of sage, 1/2 red chili, seeds removed, 70 milliliters olive oil, plus extra for drizzling, 4 turnips, peeled, leaves reserved, 4 pork chops, 4 sage leaves, 4 lemon peel strips, 20 grams unsalted butter, 175 milliliters white wine, 120 milliliters chicken stock, salt and black pepper. 1. If you are cooking your own beans, soak them in a generous amount of water of overnight. The next day, simmer covered in water with half a bulb of garlic, bay leaves, sage, chili and a drizzle of olive oil. Bring up to a simmer and skim off any froth when it appears. Simmer for about 40 minutes, or until the beans are tender. Remove the herbs and leave the beans covered in water until you are ready to use. 2. Set the oven to 180 C350 FGAs 4. Slice the turnip bulbs in half, cut with a little olive oil, arrange in a baking dish and roast for 20 minutes, or until a knife slides through easily. 3. Season the chops with salt and pepper. Heat a little oil in an oven-proof frying pan, then brown your chops, especially the fatty parts. Once golden, add the sage leaves, lemon peel and the butter. 4. Put in the oven and bake for 78 minutes. Then take the chops out of the pan and leave them to rest. Deglaze the pan with a splash of wine and the chicken stock, then reduce and season. 5. Combine the roasted turnips and drained haricot beans in another pan, check for seasoning, then add the chopped turnip leaves and cook for a few minutes, or until wilted. Spoon the bean mixture into serving bowls, top with the meat and pour over the wine reduction. Margot Henderson is a chef and author. With partner Melanie Arnold, she owns Rochelle Canteen in Shoreditch and at the ICA, and runs catering company Arnold and Henderson at Rochelle ICA.